Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming today. Before I actually start on my presentation, I just wanted to say how moved I am by seeing all of you here, everyone at this event. It's really something. I mean, we were driving past the lines of hundreds of people, and you have people of every age, every ethnicity, every gender. It really shows that this is much more than just a simple movement. I think there's a lot of people that really believe in what we're doing here, and I thank everyone here for that because I am a believer as well. It actually reminds me of the dinner party analogy that very rarely throughout history there are some events that bring people together from every single walk of life. You can have heads of states, drug dealers, businessmen, all at one dinner table, and you have a topic of conversation that they all share. So that's what crypto is, that's what Bitcoin is. So to begin, I'm presenting for FTX, which is an institutional-grade Bitcoin derivatives exchange. We are a leading cryptocurrency exchange in the world. We provide digital assets such as crypto spot, futures, prediction markets, amongst other novel digital assets. We are the largest non-Chinese cryptocurrency exchange in the world and the fourth largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world if you count the Chinese cryptocurrency exchanges. All right, so exchanges are synonymous with this industry. Why is that? That's because the exchanges provide many of the services that allow everything to flow. And our counterparties in traditional finance, they are not as incorporated into the system as we are here. So in this case, we provide the technical infrastructure that allows for price discovery. We allow for different innovative processes such as IPOs, except they're called IEOs in this case. We're the prime brokers, we're the clearing houses, we're the settlement, we're the custodians all in one. This is pretty powerful because it allows for quick innovation and it avoids issues like what happened with Robinhood and GameStop where there's different layers they have to communicate. If there's miscommunication, you have a big problem. So I'm going to go into the product offering at ftx.com. I do want to first say this is not available to US residents and nothing on this presentation is financial advice or any other kind of advice. We provide futures. We have several hundred different futures products. We have several hundred spot markets. We have leverage tokens which provide a spot asset that allows you to have a leverage position without having to maintain leverage margins or maintenance margins or liquidations and whatnot. We have an OTC portal that allows for in-chat OTC trades as well as a streaming quote portal where people can just go interact programmatically or click-wise. We have spot margin trading and a peer-to-peer lending platform with, at the moment, I think like over $1.5 billion they're available to go borrow. And actually recently, especially during the bull run, USD was consistently being lent out for 20 to 30% annual. So it's a pretty good opportunity. Tokenized stocks as well, prediction markets. I don't know if you guys know the Logan Paul fight coming up. There's actually a market on there for people to bet on that against Mayweather. We have volatility products, and then we have 10 different fiat currencies that we allow wires in, wires out. Some have better infrastructure, so you can do instant payments such as our Brazilian reals, USD. We have South African rand, Hong Kong dollar, Singapore dollar, euro, Great British pound. So basically, we're just really opening this infrastructure to the world, which is quite amazing. What really matters about FTX and what sets it apart from the competition, and I think has allowed this growth, isn't so much that we have a large variety of things. All the exchanges, the international exchanges, have a large variety of things. But what we have is we have one centralized wallet where you can have collateral for every single asset on this platform in one place, and you don't have to manage 13 different wallets like some of our competitors to trade the products that you want to trade. That's actually a quite special experience. We don't have auto-deleveraging. We don't have socialized losses. There's a lot of innovation here that has allowed us to go to the forefront so quickly. So here's a good representation of how fast we've grown. We are by far the fastest growing cryptocurrency exchange in the world, especially considering we are the last exchange that was launched that has grown like this. We're much younger than Binance, we're much younger than OKX, than Huobi, than all these guys. And we still have had, since the beginning of 2020, 75x growth, which may actually just be the fastest growing company in history. And then, before I go into the slide, has anyone here heard of FTX US? If so, like if you've heard of FTX US, could you raise your hand? Okay, if you heard of it before this weekend, can you raise your hand? Okay, cool. So some people are familiar with it. FTX US is now where a lot of the focus is going within the company as well. It is open to US residents. It has many of the amenities, yet obviously not all of them. Since August of 2020, we've done about 600x in the sense of daily volume on the platform. It has the deepest liquidity as it shares many of these enormous market makers that are on the international side as well. And it's the same technical infrastructure in the back end that has supported $50 billion trading volume days is the same infrastructure on the back end of this. So it can scale where it needs to go. It has a lean team of about 30 people compared to, I don't know, Coinbase with 1,700 people. I would say we're doing pretty good there. Actually, let me talk about the products real quick. So obviously we have the spot markets, we have an OTC desk, and then for qualified users, we have spot margin up to 10x, and P2P lending with sometimes much better rates than the international platform as well. Fiat as well, a variety of different fiat, ACH. We're working on a few quicker ones like PayPal too and things like that. Let me take a sip of water. So for 2021, I imagine you guys have been seeing a little bit of what's happening with FTX. There's starting to be a lot more exposure to the masses. There's starting to be quite a big shift from what it was initially to what it is now. We were primarily focused upon the cryptocurrency demographic. All of our marketing was on Twitter, purely crypto native. But now I think with all the growth that we've had quite organically has come the time to really expand outwards. So 2021 has come, and with this comes a focus more onto our US side. One of these factors that has opened this possibility was our acquisition of Blockfolio last year, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Founded in 2014, it was a cryptocurrency portfolio tracking app. I used it. I think many people within cryptocurrency used it. What we did is we bought it, we acqui-hired the team, we plugged in FTX trading infrastructure into the back end, and now you have a very, very, very simple trading interface that you would show to your grandmother or to your parents or anyone that wants to get in and just wants to slide a little thing and buy their Bitcoin and not have to worry about limit orders and stop losses and all of that. So that's one push in the retail demographic. And then FTX US is consistently building out towards being the premier institutional partner in the United States. I know this is just the beginning of that. It sounds a little bit hard because Coinbase has done very well in capturing the US institutional flow. But I am very confident that we're going to do very well there as well with a lot of the infrastructure we're building up on the back end to allow the largest entities in the United States to be able to work comfortably with FTX US. Another point of distinction here is that FTX US is actually a fully compliant, regulated US entity with all the proper licensing. So that means that basically the largest institutions in the States can work comfortably with us. But not only are we going into the US and focusing on it in the same way we have at FTX with Twitter, with this and that, and influencers. No, we're going big. We're going really fucking big. So I don't know if you guys saw, but a couple days ago, we renamed the Miami Heat's arena to the FTX Arena. This is a 19-year deal, and it's on that push of really creating a brand, creating a thing where that you see that logo, be it the FTX US or the Ftx International, and right away you're able to associate that with us. That's what we're working on. So here you can see from yesterday the naming ceremony. There's our CEO Sam at the front with the mayor, some of the players from the Heats, the VP of business at the Heats. Another huge deal that dropped yesterday, the largest deal in esports history, was the name change of TSM, which is one of the largest esports company. They are now TSM FTX, and they've come into the family in many different regards. This is Andy, their founder and CEO. He was actually hanging out here with us for a few days, had a good time. So I don't know if you guys are from Miami, but if so, thanks for having such a fun city. Trevor Lawrence, we brought him on the Blockfolio team. And the funny thing is, these all seem big, but just give it a couple weeks to a couple months. There's some stuff coming around the corner that will leave everyone quite impressed, I would say. Okay, so what makes this all possible? How has this happened in 2 years, right? It seems improbable that some upstart exchange could come out and compete with the Binances of the world, the Coinbases of the world. Like, what the heck allowed that? So I think a very integral part of that is this guy right here. So this is Sam Bankman-Fried. This is our founder. This is our CEO. This is my boss, and I'm very honored to say this is my friend as well. He has created a culture that you can't find anywhere else in the world, a culture where you walk into that office any day of the week, Sundays included, any hour of the day, and he's in that office. Sam never leaves. He works 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. He pushes so hard that it would be a shame for us to not try and push as hard as we humanly can, because we want to take load off his shoulders, right? Like if you really respect and honor someone and you see them working that hard, you want to do whatever you can to make life easier for them. I think that is something that is an integral part of the FTX culture and has pushed all of us to work as hard as we can at every moment. This is Gary. This is the architect. He's built out all the trading infrastructure on the back end. He's the magician. Somehow you see him sitting there for the longest periods of time. He's not coding. He's not moving his fingers. You're like, dude, like, what is this guy doing? And then all of a sudden he like comes across, does 3 copy paste, 2 lines of code, and boom, you have some new feature on the platform. Gigabrain. Nishad. So Nishad is our head of engineering. He works pretty much as hard as Sam, if not harder in some senses, because he's always on call. If something happens, you call Nishad, he has his laptop. We went kayaking on one of his very rare days off before I left Hong Kong recently, and he brought his laptop in a waterproof bag on that kayak. So he's like at that level of extreme work. It's pretty amazing, honestly. And then the next part of that is like, we're a lot of young people pushing the envelope, but we're not just a team. We're not just all working for the same company. We're a family. We're friends. We spend time in the office together in many different capacities, not just in the work capacity. As you can see here, some different activities going on. So, you know, even if people are in the office 15 hours a day, 6 days a week, there are little brief interruptions where we spend time together and we really create this culture that allows us to push as hard as we push. Some other pictures of events are bi-weekly badminton games with Sam, where luckily we can get him to do some sports every once in a while. Yeah, I would say that is FTX's superpower. I think that's something that's not changing as we continue to hire people that have that same regard towards life, towards work, towards the team. And the thing at the base of all of this, right? Like, why is Sam pushing so hard? Why is Nishad pushing so hard? Why is Gary pushing so hard? And why are we all pushing so hard? Well, it's because there is this baseline of giving at the end, right? Sam is an effective altruist. Effective altruism, basically, at least the way he's looking at it, is earning to give. He feels that his maximum impact towards the world is to make as much money as he possibly can to give it all back. He intends to donate everything that he has made throughout his life. One of the things we recently did, just to show that it's not only towards that end goal of some point he's going to donate tens and tens of billions of dollars, but we're actually in a continual donation process, is we started the Ftx Foundation, which I'm really happy I was one of the kickstarters of that initiative, where 1% of all net revenues on FTX are donated to the world's most effective charities. We opened up a way for our user base to donate. As you can see, we've had $7 million. This started in February. We've had $7 million from our users that have donated to the platform for us to be able to help the world. From the fees, we're at 2.7 mil. We match 10K every day. And you know, this is decent. It's not enormous when you consider how much revenue we're making, but it's something that we do on the daily, right? On their own, Sam, Nishad, Gary, and some of the others do donate much more than this, but this is something that we can keep the process going, and we can allow our user base to really interact directly with that by giving them the option of voting to where this money should go, so that they can start informing themselves on effective giving, on effective charity, because I think we've all been a little bit, I guess, defrauded with charity in general. It feels hard to give when you look at the UNICEFs of the world, that you give them money, but they're multi-thousand people organizations, and God knows where that money is really going. So this is a chance for people to get more involved and start giving, and we hope to set an example for the whole industry to start really changing and moving forward and making us not only be the fastest growing, most innovative way to make money quickly, but actually an organization that's here to give back to the world and give an example of what companies could actually be doing. So that's what I wanted to come talk to you today. I have about a minute. If anyone has questions, please feel free.
Is FTX a publicly traded company in your jurisdiction?
It is not a publicly traded company, but FTX US is a legal licensed company in the United States. And maybe one day, who knows? Yeah. Yeah, mostly. So,
Repeat the question.
oh, he was asking why FTX US has way less coins than FTX International. And I'm answering that it is because in a large regard towards the regulatory aspect, we're very mindful of what we're doing because we want FTX US to be the place that Fidelity can come to, that PayPal can come to, that the Temaseks of the world can come and interact with. And for that, we need to make sure we have a framework where they feel comfortable, and it's really easy to white tape us versus red tape us. And that's why we have less coins. Although, please believe us that we're looking into listing as many new coins as we can, and we will be rolling them out. We just need to make sure that we can do it safely. Okay, that's a great question. FTX seems big, right? I can tell you guys, I don't know if I can. FTX is raising at $20 billion valuation right now, right? The funny thing is that that's just the beginning. So Sam isn't satisfied. Sam is really, really, really aiming high. And I wouldn't be too surprised, honestly, if within 5 to 10 years, this is a multi-$100 billion company. Maybe in aggregate with FTX US and Ftx International. But this is just the start, even though we've grown this much in the last 2 years. Sorry, I can't hear you.
You could come and speak into the mic right here, and we can all hear.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you coming up.
Regarding the regulatory environment, do you anticipate more services coming to FTX US, like options trading?
I actually do anticipate a world in which FTX US has all, if not more, of the services that are provided in the international sphere. And I think we're working very closely with a lot of very good people to make that happen. So don't be surprised if you see some very interesting products and possibilities coming out quite soon. The best marketing campaign? Sam. Huh? So just to confirm, are you asking like, which was our most impactful marketing campaign? That's really hard to tell because I think a lot of where we've gotten has been a ton of tiny little things adding up in aggregate over time. So it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing. I do think that now with these recent developments like the FTX Arena and the TSM announcement, we're starting to see, one-off huge push marketing events. So I would say it's a balance, right? Maybe the aggregate of all these things pushing, plus like the TSM partnership where the announcement video is at 2 million views right now and it launched yesterday. What makes FTX better than Coinbase? Well, if you submit a support ticket, you'll get an answer in like 24 to 48 hours instead of 3 weeks to a month for one. There's a Telegram chat. There's a Telegram chat where you can come in anytime and drop a question, and there's someone 24/7 online to answer you and help you out if you need something. We care. We really care. When I started, Sam used to be in the Telegram chat answering customers. He still does that on Twitter, and he's worth tens of millions. I don't think you see any other company or CEO doing similar stuff. FTX US, I don't know, 14, something like that, 15, and then we have USDT and USD markets, so dual. But there'll be more soon.
Why are you being forced to build on a separate exchange in the United States?
Just regulatory. It's derivatives are very difficult interplay in the United States. It's very regulated space, especially cryptocurrency derivatives. So it's much better to do this in a separate manner and have an entity that interfaces with the regulators here and builds out a fully compliant model, and then the international one that can operate on international scale.
So when you listed a token, is that you guys deciding if that should be allowed to be listed, or is that the government?
No. So when we list a token, obviously it's our decision, but what we do is we have a very deep assessment into that from our legal counsel and different people in the know to tell us, like basically what we can never do is list a security in the US. Like that's terrible, right? So we have to be really mindful that we never do that. And that's why the process is slower. Yeah.
Where are you guys based out of?
So the FTX International is quite distributed. We have offices in 4 or 5 countries. It's a lot of remote work. FTX US, actually, we just opened our Miami office 2 days ago. So let's go. And we have a Chicago office that just opened recently as well.
So I have a two-part question, and first off, I can attest to the customer service of FTX. It's legit.
Thank you.
And my question is, over the bull run, what has the month-over-month growth been in active users? So not someone who just creates an account, puts like 0.001 and dips, like people actively trading.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact number. I kind of know where we started and where we ended, and sorry, I can't give you the exact numbers, but it's, you know,
it's going up.
It's gone up a ton.
Okay.
It's gone up a lot. And the cool thing about, at least on the international side, is we don't have any jurisdiction that makes up more than 10% of our user base or 10% of our revenue. So we have this really special situation where we're truly a distributed global company. And so when our user bases start adding up, it's from all over the world and not just one specific region.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my second question is a shameless plug. I have a token myself, active users, it's legit. Are you open to connecting later to see if there's room to collaborate?
Yeah, I'm happy to chat with you. The truth is, so FTX, unlike every other exchange, doesn't have the official listing process with the listing committee and the people that sit down and the gatekeepers. How it really works is that, especially on the international side, if our users are very excited for something, we will very likely give it to them.
Okay.
That's like the baseline criteria more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to start the conversation.
Yeah,
I'll let
happy to
other
chat with you after.
Yeah, just a little bit of the early beginnings, maybe share a few stories about how you guys knew that you were on the right track and maybe some areas where you got lucky and got to this point.
Sure, so I've only been at the company for a year and a half. The company's like 2 years and a few months, so I missed the first 7 months of the company, FTX. Why it's been able to do what it did in a lot of senses is because Sam founded Alameda Research before FTX, and so they had traded on every exchange pretty much in the world, or every serious exchange in the world, and they saw the specific pain points that users had on those platforms. So when they built FTX, it was in regard to all these different pain points to solve them, right? To make a platform where people didn't experience these things. Like OKX back in the day, if you traded futures and their liquidation engine fucked up and someone went into negative, you know what they would do? It's not like they would pay out of the insurance fund. They would go to a position that made positive P&L, and they would take away their positive P&L to give it to the people that had gone into the negative. That's called socialized losses. So things like that FTX never ever has had to do is what's really allowed it to get here. As well as, you know, now not at all, because Alameda is a very small percentage of the market making volume on FTX, but initially as well, like Alameda was able to do a lot of the liquidity provision on the platform, which is the hardest thing for a new exchange, right? Like if you're a new exchange, how do you convince market makers to come and provide liquidity on your platform? It's really hard because it's that cat and mouse with retail and institutions and who's there first and who's not there. So that helped a lot as well. Cool. All right, thank you everyone. And yeah, if you have any questions, we can talk.